That was a pretty feeble,
I know.
come on.
I, I, I hate interrupting conversations, but it is 5:30, and we would like to call this meeting of the Community and Economic Development Committee to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill? Commissioner Avery?
Here.
Commissioner Flewelling?
Present.
Commissioner Lloyd?
And can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any public comment to the committee? Public comment to the committee? Final call for public comment to the committee. Public comment period is closed. Do we have any communications?
No, ma'am.
Old business?
Nope.
All right, let's get right into the new business. Resolution 2025-1780, approval of a request to provide funding for the 51st Annual Gus Macker Tournament. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there support?
Support.
All right. It's been moved and supported. Is there any question and discussion about this ask? Yes.
I do have a couple of questions. Is there someone that can speak on this?
I think, yeah, from the Gus Macker program, yes. All right, come on up to the microphone. We have two majors and we have lots of special guests here. Why don't you introduce yourselves, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm Major Randy Hellstrom. I'm the Mid-Michigan Area Commander and oversee the work here in Genesee County as well for Salvation Army.
And I'm Linnell Jones McKinney, Executive Director, Salvation Army, located in Flint Beach.
And Linnell is a famous athlete, too, so anyway. Go ahead and tell us about your Gus Macker tournament.
This is the 51st annual Gus Macker Tour. It's the 5th year here in the city of Flint, but it's the 2nd year that the Salvation Army has brought the tour back to Flint. It's one of the biggest, actually it's the largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament in the country. It brings together families. It's a fundraiser for our program located in Flint Beecher, where we have what we call the Gift Discovery Program, giving every child an opportunity to dream and to realize their gifts at no cost. And that's the purpose of our fundraiser.
It's at the Life Center, which stands for Living Intentionally for Excellence. It is a youth program, after-school program, and summer program for youth. And it was started just not even quite 3 years ago, knowing that that was a great need in this area to develop with youth. And so we actually met on the basketball court at the Y, and I'm not gonna even say I came close to her skill, but we had a good time and we just connected, and so now she's our executive director, and the lives that we're changing, setting a new direction for these kids. And that's why we're doing the Gus Macker, because we're trying to raise money so that we can continue that program and that development. Certainly, as well, doing the Gus Macker tournament, we want to provide a great event for downtown Flint. We want to make sure that it is top-notch and the best it can possibly be, because one of our mottos, one of our goals is to make sure that Flint wins in the process as well.
Thank you. Other questions?
That answered mine as far as
Okay.
fundraising. One more question, though. This might be for Josh or Crystal. With the amount that we're looking at allocating tonight out of the accommodation fund, do we have
We do.
more than enough funds for that?
We have more than enough fund balance, for sure.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Are we ready for the vote? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. The second resolution is 2025-1824, approval of the 2025-2029 Genesee County Consolidated Plan. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Been moved?
Support.
Moved and supported. Question and discussion? Yes,
I do have a question, ma'am.
Commissioner Flewelling.
Are these all county-owned trails? Somebody can speak on that?
It's the consolidated plan.
Oh, I'm on the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Does it,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong one.
are there any questions about the consolidated plan? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now, Resolution 2025-1848, approval of a grant award from the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation in the amount of $1,030,000 to provide for construction of non-motorized trails in Grand Blanc Township, City of Fenton, and the City of Burton. The budget for the grant is attached. Is there a motion to approve?
Support with a question.
It's been moved and supported. Question from Commissioner Flewellen.
Yes, ma'am. Now that I'm on the right one, are these, the trails that are in these 3 municipalities, are they all county-owned?
Good evening, Commissioners. Christine Durgan, the Assistant Director at the Planning Commission. Are they county-owned? I'm not sure I can answer that question. I would say probably not. These are projects coming from these individual communities, but I can check on that for sure, but I'm not exactly sure what the ownership would be on those, to be honest.
If I may.
Go ahead.
And that was a part of my question, was going to be, if these are municipal trail systems, how do the municipalities go about applying for these funds in the future?
So just a little bit of background on this one. So this was a special allocation just for these specific activities to kind of fill a funding gap that was needed. These projects have kind of been on the books. They just needed that little bit of additional funding. The Mott Foundation has shown some interest in providing some future funding down the road, so I'm sure that we would have some sort of open process if that were to happen, so the communities would all have fair opportunity for that.
So who would I direct my municipalities to? The
Planning
Planning
Commission.
Commission, Metropolitan
Yep.
Planning Commission? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I can add to that a little bit because I just came from the roundtable meeting that the Mott Foundation had at the library. And one of the things that Ridgway White said was that the reason they're partnering with the county is because they don't want to get 30 different applications for, non-motorized trails from different municipalities. And so the foundation is partnering with Genesee County and our Planning Commission because they have the bird's eye view, so to speak, of what's going on in the county. And the long-term goal, I believe, is to make this, the non-motorized trail, an asset for all of Genesee County. So, thank you, Chris. Any other questions for Chris? All right. The motion has been made and seconded. Is all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And finally, Resolution 2025-1853, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and the Ally Challenge in the amount of $100,000 to provide for sponsorship of the Ally Challenge Golf Tournament for 2025 and 2026, which is $50,000 per year. The cost of this agreement will be paid from the Accommodation Tax Fund. Is there a motion to approve?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions?
Madam Chair, Erin Stone is here from the Ally Challenge. She does have a brief presentation to go over with you, if you guys would like to see it.
Certainly, and good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to be back to the table. Obviously, it's been a pleasure to work with you the last several years. This is a refresh of our application sourcing from 2 years ago, but this year is a 2-year request. You can go ahead and move forward, and I'll just, oh, am I moving forward? Okay, great, perfect, thanks. Just a quick overview. The last time I was here, we did discuss the long-term future of the tournament. There is some update on that, so just to share with you, in January of this year, we announced a single-year extension with Ally Financial as the title sponsor of this tournament. That gives us the runway of the 2025 tournament, which is ahead in 67 days, and the 2026 tournament, at which time Ally will exit their title sponsor relationship with this PGA Tour event and our operating entity, H&S Sports. What that means, of course, is we have 2 hats in which we're looking at the tournament. The short-term future, which is to execute a successful tournament in 25 and 26 and continue to grow our charity impact, which averages over $1 million of grant funding back to nonprofits predominantly based in Genesee County. And then the long-term future is the second hat I'm wearing right now, which is to secure a new title sponsor for 2027 and beyond to shore up the stability of this tournament moving forward. As I'm sharing with all of our partners and having this conversation, it's not a wonderful conversation to have, as I'm sure you can imagine, but in our scenario, I think we have a great opportunity to show what Genesee County has supported and built. Our groundswell of attendance, sponsorship, suite holders is predominantly Genesee County businesses, and we're very proud of that fact. So when we go in search of a new title sponsor, we believe we make a great case for keeping this in Genesee County moving forward and at Warwick Hills. But of course, that future is yet to be defined and written. So that is the reason for the 2-year request this year. And we are making the same request of all of our sponsors to really put the best foot forward as we shop a new corporate title namesake sponsor, to put the best foot forward of why it should be in Genesee County and prove it based on the funding and the groundswell of support.
Okay, questions for Aaron? Okay, hearing none.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
I don't know if this question's for Aaron, or if it'd be more Amari or somebody. Is there any estimate of how much revenue this brings in for the accommodation tax each year? I didn't see it in there.
Let me get ahead to some of the data points. We do partner with Explore Flint and Genesee under Amari's leadership, and they use Placer AI, which tracks hotel nights and a geo-target that's placed around Warwick Hills to look at visitor traffic. You can see by some of these graphs that are in the, and I don't know if you guys have the attachments, but certainly I can provide you with the PDF, or Josh can, but we do prove the metrics of the hotel room nights through data from a third-party source, a non-biased third-party source that Flint and Genesee County commission for this visitor traffic data. And you'll see our 22 to 23, 24 lines, upward traction of the attendance, and ultimately visitor traffic, room nights. These are overnight travelers coming in from across the United States that show some of the heat map points. And keep in mind, this is agnostic from the data we use, which is, of course, Ticketmaster based, where we can measure zip codes of purchaser ticket data. We show a similar trend, breakdown by room nights and breakdown, of course, of the visitor demographic. And I tried to summarize the key point for you in the top of each of these slides. Large numbers of high net worth travelers that are traveling in and staying 2 or more days in our region. And of course, the hotel tax that fuels the accommodation fund come from that hotel visitor tax. Certainly, this is a look at the daily traffic as it relates to the Warwick Hills geo-targeted fence. Obviously, Saturday is the large draw, but just showing that in the thousands across the entire week, we're bringing in visitor traffic through the Ally Challenge. And then, of course, that's the summary of that data and our request. Good question.
Any other questions from the committee? Okay. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motions, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. If there is any other business, we are now adjourned at 5:43.
You guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep, we're ready. 5:44.
We now call the Finance Committee to order at 5:44. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kuzno?
Here.
Commissioner Getzinger?
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill? Commissioner Shoemaker?
Present.
Commissioner Lloyd?
I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes of May 21st. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We now take time for public comment to the committee. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to address the committee? 1, 2, 3 times. It's over with. Thank you. Communications and old business, we don't have any. New business, Resolution 251797, forwarding to receive and file a copy of the paid county bills for the weeks ending 5/11, 5/18/25 in the total amount of $9,426,604.59.
Support.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 251799, approval of a purchase order to GLOBO Holdings LLC for the fiscal year ending 2025 in amount not to exceed $36,731.82 for additional interpretation and translation services at Genesee County's Health Department. The cost of this purchase order will be paid from the accounts listed.
Move it.
I'll support it with a question. Could I have an explanation, please?
Good evening, Commissioners. Brad Snyder, Deputy Health Officer, Genesee County Health Department. This is to ask for an increase in estimated costs for interpretation and translation services for the remainder of this fiscal year.
It's for your programs where you're out with the community?
Correct. Yeah, it's mainly used by our clinical services. Sorry, a bit closer. It's mainly used by our clinical services. So our WIC program and our communicable disease and tuberculosis programs are high users of this service. Also, sexual health, family planning, and immunizations utilize the service. But it's available to all of those who provide public-facing services at the health department.
Okay, and that comes out of the general fund money that we give the health department every year?
No, this comes from grant funding for each of those
Okay, that's
programs.
what I
We have
need to know.
allocated lines within each of those programs, budgets for translation interpretation services.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, and I guess explain to me why you feel you need the additional. Do you anticipate a bigger need, a new program? What's happening with that?
Yeah, great question. So we've been utilizing this company since 2023, and each year we've seen an increase in the use of the services. I have here that in fiscal year 24, we used just under $11,000 in services. And for this current fiscal year 25, we're at just under 17,000. That's as of April of this year. So we're seeing a dramatic increase in use of those services, and that's why we're estimating out that to be at this roughly 36,000 for the remainder of this fiscal year. I'll add that because we're seeing such an increase in these services, we are looking for other vendors to offer the same or better services for a better price. And we've already found a few of those at other local health departments that are using across the state, and we're hoping to begin utilizing those in the beginning of fiscal year 26.
Any further questions, Commissioner? Commissioner Getzinger,
good.
you good?
I'm good,
Okay.
thank you.
Mr. Shoemaker?
Thank you. Through the chair. My question is, are these people in the facility and they're just there all day, and then if someone was to come in that needed these services, then they provide the service, or how does this,
Nope.
how does the process work?
Yeah,
So
this
I
is an
understand.
on-demand service. So they're not physically in the building. This is a organization, a company that we call on demand when we need the service, and they provide it live during the moment that it's needed.
If I may.
Please.
Are you finding with these other services that they're less? Because this seems like for an on-demand, which is basically a virtual service, is what you're telling me. This seems like an awful lot for a virtual service.
Yeah, we're, as we've seen an increase in services and we've looked elsewhere, we're paying approximately $2 a minute for interpretation services through Globo, and we're finding other competing businesses that are providing for less than a minute, less than $1 per minute. So there's definitely vendors out there that we're actively pursuing for the next fiscal year.
If I may continue through the
Sure,
chair.
please.
Have we looked at anything with AI? Right now, I know there's some producers in other industries that are actually using AI to interpret language barriers and stuff like that, and it's just a program you buy, and it's basically on the entire.
Sure. Specifically, we haven't looked for anything for AI. I can say that one of the vendors we spoke to, they provided us with a demo. They said there's some AI functionality with it embedded in it, but we haven't specifically looked at like an AI company by itself.
Just wondering, because other industries that are using this are saving large amounts of money, because guess what? It can actually interpret and translate everything, and it's always there if you need it, and it's just more like a one cost per month instead of per call. So I was just wondering if you guys had looked into that, so,
I'll take that into, when we look into other companies for sure.
thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 25-1829, approval of proposed budget amendment to the 24-25 appropriations resolution for various line items as described in the
Support.
attached budget adjustment request. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 25-1845, approval of the last one-year extension in the GFL contract that provides solid waste removal disposal at various county facilities. Do I have a motion?
With a question.
Support.
Shoemaker, you made the motion?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. As everyone knows, I'm not a fan of the extensions continuing on, but after this year is up, which we obviously know it's going to be, have we researched who else provides this type of service and what we're going to do to make sure we have bids out in an adequate amount of time instead of waiting till the last 3 months or something like that? So, Derek, I guess you're answering the question. How are you today, sir?
I'm well, and yourself, sir?
Thank you.
Good evening, Derek Jones, Purchasing Administrator. Yes, this is the last extension for the initial contract that we did have. We did bring it to you early because the services will start on October 1st of 2025 and run through next year, which is the last extension. During that period of time, it is our intent to do another competitive bid process for the particular services for the 26-27 fiscal year.
Thank you.
That's it? That's all?
Yep, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We don't have any other business, do we, Mr. Freeman? No, sir. Okay, we now stand adjourned
This,
at
Mr.
5:50.
Mr. Chair, what is?
Yes, please. That's government ops that got
where we
moved.
are? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ben, how are you? Good, how you doing? Good. What time are we at? At 5:54, we'll call this meeting to the Government Operations Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wayhill, Commissioner Shoemaker,
Present.
Commissioner Winfrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Flewelling,
Present.
Commissioner Lloyd.
Quorum. Okay, I need approval of the minutes for May 21st, 2025. approval and a support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have public comment to the committee. Public comment to the committee. Public comment to the committee. Public comment is closed. We have no communications. Old business. Approval of an update to the Genesee County Vehicle Operation and Driving for Work Policy.
Mr. Chair, if that could be postponed to next committee, we still need to coordinate a meeting with the commissioners to,
Want to
Yep.
take that off the agenda? No action is required then for that right now?
order
do
it
we need to-
postponed with no objection. It should be good.
I'd like a motion to postpone
I'll move it.
resolution.
Postpone to July.
Yep. I have a motion and support. Any discussion?
How long have we been postponing?
Month and a half, I think. Is that about prior? Approximate?
Yes.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of postponing?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Resolution 2025-1687, approval of a request by the Genesee County Prosecutor's Office to enter into a 5-year contract with Leonard Brothers for storage and retrieval for prosecutor case files. I need a motion.
I'll move it.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion.
Mr. Chair, if you recall at the last board meeting, this was initially moved out of committee for a 10-year process, but there was some discussion about whether it should be a 10-year or 5-year, and you'd asked that the prosecutor be here to speak to that at this meeting, so I think that's what he's here for.
Only if you have questions.
Well, Mike, to my fault, I was seeing the 10-year, and I did not like the 10-year option to put the board in that situation moving forward or anyone else, but now that it's 5-year
Well, we changed it based on your guys'
discussion, yes. So,
We had presented, I believe, a 10 or a 20.
yes.
And there was some feedback on that, and so we came back with what you requested was a 5-year.
Yep. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Does anyone from the board have any comments on this? Would like to speak on this? I would just like to say thank you. The 5-year makes me feel much more comfortable. I don't think we're putting future boards in any situation that they would deal with long-term and look unfavorably on us. And I think you guys also moving forward, we don't know who's going to be here in 5 years. So I appreciate you guys being flexible on this. So thank you. With that being said, no more discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. New business, resolution 2025-1743, approval of a request from Genesee County Prosecutor's Office to apply for the 2026 auto theft grant in the amount of $219,945. This grant requires a 50% match. I need a motion.
Move it.
Support.
I have a motion to support. Any discussion? Commissioner Kuzno.
Yes, sir. This grant's been here longer than me.
Yes. Is there any other discussion? No more discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
Resolution 2025-1800, approval of a request from Genesee County Community Corrections to apply for a grant in the amount of $630,677.10 from the Michigan Department of Corrections Office of Community Corrections for the year 2026. I need a motion.
Support.
I have a motion to support. Any discussion? Commissioner Kuzno.
Hey, Marlene.
Good evening, Commissioners. Marlene Colley, Community Corrections Deputy Director, annual submission.
Is there any other discussion? With no other discussion, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 2025-1815, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and the United Way of Northwest Michigan in the amount not to exceed $200,000 to provide for Genesee County employees tri-share program. The cost of this agreement will be paid from the account as follows.
I'll move it.
Support with a question.
I have a motion and support with a question.
Somebody that
Mr.
can speak on
Fluella.
this?
Who's here from HR? There's nobody here from HR. This is the employee tri-share program where we pay a third for eligible health, not healthcare, childcare expenses. The employee pays a third, and then the state of Michigan picks up a third as well.
Okay. How many employees qualify for this?
The qualifications are based on a income
Right.
range, which
Yeah.
is higher than
400%, I think.
Yeah, I
200,
think so,
400
yeah.
Of the poverty line.
I don't know, and I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to speak on this. I'm not sure how many participated last year, but I can get that information for you.
I remember asking that same question when it first came up, and I believe we were told from HR, don't quote me, but there was around 60 families in the county that were able to take advantage of the program.
So I guess my question is with how the new contracts are going to shake out once we enter the new fiscal year, are we going to have less families qualifying? I guess I'm questioning, we're going to go from 150 to 200. Are we going to have families falling off that threshold?
Possibly,
Okay.
but then the money is just not spent, right? So if they fall off of that threshold, then those dollars just wouldn't be
So I
spent.
guess that's my question, is what's the impetus for increasing it by 50,000 this year?
And I wasn't prepared to speak to this. I'm not sure why HR is not here to speak to it, but I'll figure that out and I can get those questions answered. If you guys want to postpone it until the next month's meeting, that's fine, to get those questions answered, and I can get that information for you.
If it's not time sensitive, I'm fine with that, because I have a few questions also I'd like answered. So if we could, for now, just have a motion, then
I'd move to
withdraw your
postpone to
motion.
the next government ops meeting.
Do we have a second? Mr. Winfrey? We have a motion to postpone till we get some questions answered. Are you okay
I'm
with that?
sorry. A big distraction. I'm sorry, what was the question?
We have a motion to postpone this until we get some questions answered about usage.
Okay, you need my support.
Yes.
I do support it.
All right. I have a motion and a second to postpone. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
And I'll get with you in between and get those questions answered.
Perfect, thank you.
If you could get with me also, I have a
Yep.
few from there.
Yep.
Okay, we have an add-on to the Government Operations Committee for other business.
I'll move the add-on.
Support.
Or you guys all should have it on your desk
To add the add-on.
to add the add-on. So I need a motion, well, is there?
Yep.
I need a motion to support
You have that?
to add it.
Yeah, we just
got it?
did.
Okay, we got that. Any discussion?
Yes.
Just to add it to the agenda. All
Just add it to the agenda? Okay, nope.
right. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Now, we need a motion to
So moved.
deal with the resolution.
Support.
Okay. I have a motion to support. Now, if there's discussion, would
Yes.
you like to speak? Have
I
at
do
it.
have a couple of questions, if somebody's here to speak on it. All right, perfect. Just a couple of questions. What's the hourly wage of these employees on average?
A little over 16.
Okay. How many employees?
Total, I believe there's 12.
12, okay. How many hours was this for? Just that weekend?
Yes, it was just for the essential training that they needed to start the program.
May 3rd, yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe they worked all that time. It was just for the training leading up to it.
every time, Dave.
Correct.
Yeah. Are these positions all grant funded?
It's a mutual funded source with that. There's no general fund used. Anything that is above the grant or the partnership with Michigan Works comes from our forfeiture fund.
Oh, okay. Is there a total? Does anybody know ballpark total?
I don't have that number with me today.
But it's $16 an hour?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So is there any more discussion? Anyone else? Dr. Brown, please.
Cost of this training, this kind of training?
No, this is the first time that they have partnered with us with our Marine Patrol in that. That was part of our reaching out to them because we were concerned that we weren't going to get the DNR grants. So we reached out to them a couple months ago to partner with them to have an additional funding source for this. Absolutely.
Any other questions? Okay. Mine is this, so we used to, thank you for being here, by the way, to answer questions. It's greatly appreciated. To start with, we used to receive a fund from the state of Michigan, some
Correct.
funds for that. Do we still receive those funds?
Good news, it just got approved this week, the grant for it. It should be on, I believe, the July's agenda for it. They did cut it back, but they did approve us for about a little over $14,000.
That's quite a big cut, isn't it?
Yeah,
Normally about
it's about
$40,000?
half.
So my next question, if we continue from there, is do you think this is going to affect the amount of hours we're going to be able to put on to the lakes then?
No, I think with the partnership with Michigan Works and the commitment from the sheriff's office with the forfeiture funds, coverage will be status quo or not even better.
My next question is this, what was holding up the grant? Was it the state or was it us late provide the grant? Or
It was
what?
the state of Michigan held up all the grants for this, and then they reached out about 2 weeks ago and said the money became available again, and they were looking at reopening up the grants, and then we got their approval this week.
Okay, all right. So the one question I do have though, and this is something that kind of sticks in my craw and everybody knows this is, why didn't what we approved a couple weeks ago come to us before we actually put these people to work?
So there was thank you for your grace, first of all. There was some history with that. We believed that we already had the positions approved. We reached out to HR, they were contacted, they were started at that point. Fiscal Services realized that those funds were not approved already, and the cart got ahead of the horse at that point. That's when we came to the board and asked for approval of those positions.
Anyone else have any discussion? Okay. Thank you. All those in favor of move to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. No other business. Meeting is adjourned at 6:08 PM.
Right. I'm going to call the Human Services Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Winfrey?
Here.
Commissioner Avery? Here. Commissioner Getzinger?
Here.
Commissioner Kuzma? Commissioner Lloyd?
All right. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Move it.
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Are there any public comments to this committee? Any public comments to this committee? Any public comments to this committee? Moving on, no communications, no old business. New business, Resolution 2025-1805, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Michigan Department of Health and Human Services in the amount of $9,000 to fund environmental health services programs at Genesee County's Health Department. The term of this grant is June 1, through September 30th.
So moved.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Resolution 2025-1817, approval of a grant award from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families in the amount of $15,713,491 to provide for Genesee County's Head Start program.
Move it.
But with a question.
Okay, properly moved and supported. Commissioner Kuzno.
Yes, I was just wondering how this amount compared to last year's, if it's the same, up, down?
Ms. Coleman.
Good evening, Commissioners. Pamela Coleman, Director for G-Card. It's about $750,000 increase from last year.
Thank you, and I know I'm ahead a little bit, but the same thing on the next, I'm going to ask the same question on the next item.
That percentage is the same for, that is the fiduciary fee for ULSA, who is the contract our staff for our Head Start program. So that percentage has not changed.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Coleman. Resolution 2025-1818, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Oakland Livingston Human Services in the amount not to exceed $11,643,205 to provide for Genesee County's Head Start preschool and early Head Start programs. It's been properly moved and supported. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just apologize for getting ahead of it a little bit. I guess
It's all
I'm
right.
antsy.
You killed two birds with one stone. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. This meeting is adjourned.
Keeping it
Okay. Call the Public Works Committee meeting to order at 6:13. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Flewelling?
Present.
Commissioner Avery?
Here.
Commissioner Brown? Here. Commissioner Shoemaker? Commissioner Lloyd?
You.
4 members.
Approval of minutes, resolution 2025. Move.
Support.
Support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any public comment to the committee? Public comment to the committee, public comment to the committee. Seeing none, that's closed. Any communications?
No.
Old business, none. New business resolution 2025-1581, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Preferred Data Systems in an amount not to exceed $57,475.63 to provide for annual software license renewals for email security and archiving. The cost for this agreement will be paid from the
Support.
accounts listed. Moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Carries. Resolution 2025-1774, approval of a purchase order to WW Williams for the fiscal year ending 2025 in an amount not to exceed $20,000 to provide generator maintenance at various county facilities. The cost of this purchase order will be paid from the accounts listed.
Move it with question.
Move and support. Questions?
Yes. How
Commissioner
many
Shoemaker?
generators are we servicing for this?
Whole bunch. Ray's on his way up.
Commissioners, Ray Zanke, Director of Building, Facilities and Operations, Force of Habit.
There's about 8 generators.
So does this include any materials they would need, or is this
Yep,
just the inspection?
Oil, nope, load bank test, a full maintenance.
All right. Also, you know, if you guys sat closer, the meetings would go faster, just so you know.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2025-1802, approval of request by Genesee County Parks and Recreation Commission to accept a grant from Mary Elizabeth Adams Manley Beautification Fund through the Community Foundation of Greater Flint.
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 2025-1852, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Hobbs and Black Architects in an amount not to exceed $150,000 to perform a space study for several county departments. Cost of this agreement will be paid from the accounts listed.
So moved.
Moved and supported. Discussion, Commissioner Shoemaker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. One, did we send this, first simple question, did we send this out for bids?
We did.
And how many buildings are we doing a space study on?
This is a space study for the prosecutor's office, the public defender's office, community corrections, friend of the court, and district court, so 5 different departments.
Good.
I'm sitting here just a little in awe at $150,000 for that little bit. That's basically almost 4 times what our average resident Genesee County makes for space study on 4 departments. How are we, when we're sending things out for bid, how are we doing this? Are we doing it like before when we sent out applications for, looking for applicants to apply to different boards and various boards? Are we making this well-known? Because this just seems like a very large number.
I think we got 9. You reviewed
Yeah,
them too, right?
I was on, I helped review them. There was at 7 or 9.
7 or 9 applicants. It's put on our website. It's put on the state of Michigan's purchasing website, Mitten, a cooperative. We got a pretty robust response back.
And the best we can get is $150,000.
So we had costs from, I think it was like $300,000 or $400,000 down to this. I mean, you get a broad spectrum of them, yeah.
Explain what they do in a space study for $150,000 to $300,000, if somebody could.
I believe the proposal was attached, but the short answer is they come in, talk to each department, understand what each function of every person is, and they, provide what they think you're going to need to either renovate space or to build something new. As you know, this was kind of being driven as part of the district court consolidation. As part of that consolidation, whether they stay at McCree or whether we build something new, we always knew there was going to have to be some renovation for multiple departments. So rather than just plugging people into space like we've done at this building, we're really trying to get a clear picture of what we need. So when we go in and renovate, we're not building more than what we need.
Good.
Now, remind me, we did a space study a while back for all departments.
We did a space study for those departments that were moving into the tower.
But we didn't know all the departments we were going to move in the tower till we did the space study. 'Cause
No, we
that's-
did know.
We knew. So,
Well, we had an idea of what
because I've,
we know. I can throw out based on basic estimates, but I'm not an architect, right? So we hired a professional to come in and say, this is what we think you need for department head, this is what we think you need for this position, what we think you need for that position, and they told us this is what total space you're going to need.
okay, because I seem to remember it a little differently because we didn't get everyone into the tower. We were originally thinking we were going to get into the tower, one.
No, we did. Except for parks, and that was a decision made by the board. That wasn't a decision based on
Well,
space.
I'm going to tell you, I'd love to see the video where we voted on that. Would love to see that decision, because I don't ever remember making that decision, because if we had the vote today, I'd move parks downtown. And if there's space there to move them because we made the decision, then I will bring a motion up right after this to move parks downtown, if there's space. So you're telling me there's space for parks?
I believe that there is space in the building that could have been utilized for parks, is what
Now we
I'm
don't have
telling you
that
right now.
space. Now we don't have that space anymore.
I'm sorry?
Now we don't have that space anymore.
We made different plans based on direction that I was given.
Was the direction you were given by the full board or by members of the board?
By the direction that I was given is the decision that was made. I don't go out and make decisions on my own without direction from the board.
Once again, I'm going to ask a simple question. Was it the board that
board
voted
appro-
on it and you made the decision because the board voted on it, or was it the direction of the 5 votes you knew you could get if you needed to? That's my question. Was it voted on?
The board voted on the plan.
Did we vote on the plan not to put the parks in there?
You approved the plan of what departments were located in the building.
When you say you,
The Board of
the Board of
Commissioners.
Commissioners is what you mean.
That's how we act, is by resolution of the board.
No, I understand how it works. You need 5 of us nut jobs to vote for something, and then it goes. I got you. But the fact is this. There's a lot of stuff going on down here that decisions are made without this board's knowledge, and we just go along with it, or things are brought to us without a consensus, and it's just we deal with it. I remember things several times differently, and sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm not, but this is just another small piece that just gets under my skin, because these are conversations we should have before we're wasting our employees' time to send out for bids for $150,000. Now, whether you approved it or not, you didn't spend the $150,000, but you did spend man-hours sending out for bids, the time to put it together, and then it's just brought to us. You know, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's because I'm the cantankerous one, or before I was a Republican, that I'm left out of these conversations to know this stuff is going on. And I've said it to all of you before, I would not allow that to happen to you if that is what's happening. But we have major financial issues ahead of us, whether you believe it or not. You can sit there and say we don't, we do. And every dollar counts. And I realize that the answer to this is if we don't have a good analysis of where we're going to put people, we could waste money by having too much space. So I understand that. But the fact is decisions like this are made, they're brought to us here at the board level, and these should be conversations we should be having. Now, whether it's we need to have more workshops, which I am for, or something different, but there are a lot of decisions made down here, and I want you to ask yourself this: do you know about most of them? Do you know? It's just very frustrating to see this for me, and I know it's going to pass either way, but it just seems like there's more and more of these where we are taken out of the loop as the executive level of this county. And it's very, very frustrating. And as a commissioner and a resident who pays taxes to this county, I don't think it should go this way, but it is what it is. From there, I'm going to just say thank you before I continue on pontificate anymore. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll take a minute. So I have been pretty vocal the last couple of years on my dissent against the consolidation of the courts. That being said, I did sit on this committee to look at this, and I will support moving it to the full board so we can have further discussion with all 9 of us. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Any other business? No. We are adjourned at 6:24.